Hello and welcome back to another episode of. Is that camera on me?
I guess it fell over. That's funny.
I'm glad I caught that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too. And also, people of the world, remember that?
Hello, people of the world. That's my tagline. 45 episodes in, still figuring it out. Hello, people of the world. Welcome back to another episode of Sam Sessions. Back here in the acoustic A room of South Austin Music. And as always, it's a very special day. To my right, got a good friend, Anson Funderburgh.
Correct.
Hosted by the world's worst interviewer.
No, ain't no way.
I promise you, man. We're going to get there. We're going to get there together as a unit. How you feeling today?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to chat a little bit before we started this, and there's two things you said that really stuck out to me. The first one being that you played in clubs at age 15, I think you said.
True. Yeah.
And you said that you also still feel nerves before you start a show.
Always.
Yeah. So both those things are insane. For one, I can't imagine playing clubs at 15 years old. Were you exposed to certain things at an early age that maybe the average 15-year-old would not have been?
Oh, I'm probably sure I was.
Yeah.
But it was such a cool thing for me. I loved music. My mom and dad loved music. They liked to dance. So my musical existence, I guess, sort of is because of dancing.
Okay. That's cool. That's a very unique take. Yeah.
I mean, my mom and dad loved country music. They loved to dance to all that kind of music and big band type stuff, but mainly country music. But it was pretty funny watching them in their sock feet in the kitchen dancing and having fun.
That's cool. That's really cool. This is actually great. Because this does. Would you consider yourself a good dancer yourself?
Oh God, no! I've spent too much time with a guitar hung around my neck and not enough time on the dance floor.
See, that's unfortunate. I was hoping you might be able to give me some advice.
Learn to dance. That's the good advice.
Yeah, that works. I was out dancing the other night, and I was, way more confident than I should have been or than I deserved to be. And I danced with a friend, and she came up to me afterwards, and she's like, "Is that how you've been dancing this whole time?" And at that point, I realized that maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I'd been. And I told her, "Yeah, that's how I've been dancing this whole time." And she said, "Well, it felt like you were ripping my arms out of the sockets most of the time."
You were doing a little slinging.
I thought it was cool and fiery, but apparently it was just painful and uncomfortable. So, anyways, I was hoping that maybe you
back to the drawing board with the dancing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's the overconfidence thing that actually seems to affect me more than it benefits oftentimes. But yeah, it's good. The other thing I wanted to ask you about right off the bat was you still deal with some kind of nerves before a show. Is there anything in particular that you do to help get through that maybe
hit the first note?
Yeah.
Once the song is started and I guess I get nervous a little bit just right before you play. You're sitting there, you're kind of wondering how everything's going to work. If the sound check was really accurate, and you got a room full of people, and once everything starts and you kind of fall into it, it's you don't really get nervous anymore.
Yeah, just get it started already.
Just kind of get it started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the buildup does seem to be the worst part most of the time.
I haven't been in a situation where people completely didn't like us and booed us yet. Maybe that'd be nervous too. But it's it's usually fine. It's just getting on the stage and hitting that first note.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Also good to remind yourself that pretty much everyone there wants to be there and is happy to be there. So,
well, that's true. That everybody's there to see you and hear you, and they're excited about it, and it's all good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess we'll go ahead and jump into this. Your album, The Mill Block Blues.
Okay.
That was released back in 2011, and I read that a portion of the proceeds went to the Heart Fund. The Heart Fund's not something that I'm actually too familiar with. Would you talk about that a little bit?
Well, the Heart Fund is an organization within the BMAs or the Blues Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a foundation that helps people if they're sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it also, if someone passes away, maybe with funeral arrangements and just things that someone might need. You know, during COVID, it was, you know, the Blues Foundation, the Heart Fund, all those foundations, you know, really, really helped musicians that weren't having, you know, didn't have any kind of an income, you know. Not all of us were in great shape during those couple of years where, I mean, for us, the music just completely stopped.
Yeah.
And maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you could maybe say, okay, this is fine. We're going to be all right. But I mean, you know, once it started going into 6 months and then a year, I mean, people were going, well, what are we going to do? And those organizations, along with there's Music Cares, which is the Grammy. I think that's with the Grammys, and that's another organization that, you know, they paid bills for people. They kept, you know, house payment or car payment
Right.
or insurance, you know, whatever, just to help people get through in that time of need.
Stay afloat. Yeah, that's really cool. It's good to know that there's funds like that out there. I mean, I know if something happened for me where I wasn't able to collect my check, I would start to fall apart within the first week. I would be screwed.
I think there's a whole lot of us that are sort of like that.
Yeah.
Really, to be right honest, but you know, I mean, it's hard to get ahead anymore. And you know, a good friend of mine is he was a coach, but he had a 45 out in the, I guess it was the early 60s. His name was James Good, and the band was called the XLs. And I want to say the 45 was called Less Rock. I hope I'm correct on that. I may not be. But, you know, it was like a little rock and roll kind of song. And anyway, he and his brother, Danny, played in this band. And he went on and became a coach and had a different career. And then after he retired as a coach, we were friends. I mean, I'd known him since I was before I was looking at people, watching people play. And he had written a bunch of songs, and all of those songs are sort of his tunes. And I sort of produced that record for him. And we got there's a bunch of different, there's two of those Mill Block Blues CDs. The first one is the one that all the proceeds went to the Heart Fund.
Wow.
And he was a really, really great man. He's no longer with us. He had dementia, and you know, not a great ending for James. But he was a really great man, and yeah, we owe a big salute to him for putting that thing together and giving all that money to the Heart Fund.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I think all that anyone can hope for is that they do something while they're alive that still gets talked about when they pass. So it's good to know that he was able to do that.
He was a great guy.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, rest in peace to him. So is that part of the reason why you decided to donate the proceeds to the Heart Fund, was because you had a personal connection?
No, that was his decision to, you know, both of ours sort of.
Right.
But, you know, no, that was something that he wanted to do.
Okay.
And it was actually nominated. It did not win the BMA, but it was nominated for a BMA.
Wow.
So, you know, I think people, I think it sold fairly well and
Yeah.
I think we were able to donate quite a bit of money
That's awesome.
to the Heart Fund.
That's really cool. That's giving is the same as getting is something I heard recently, and yeah, it seems to be true.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Um, you've been involved in the music industry for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the different kind of like hoops and things you've had to learn along the way. Is there any major lesson that you might be able to condense and give?
Well, my father told me a long time ago. He said, Anson, if you can find something that you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's sort of true and sort of not true. But I've early on, I love playing the guitar and I loved music. And if you really love playing guitar and money's not a huge priority for you, man, it's a wonderful thing. If you're thinking of getting rich quick, and might not be a good idea. But I mean, I'd say if you want to be a musician of any sort, whether it's guitar, drums, whatever, you better love it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sort of really love to do it, because sometimes it's a lot of traveling, which people think, oh man, I get to travel. Well, after a while, traveling is not exactly. Sometimes you like to be at home.
Yeah, you miss your own bed.
But I love playing music. It's all I've ever had to do. I mean, I've had to do a couple of things before during COVID would be one of them.
Yeah.
But, if you love it, you'll do it, and you'll always love to do it, and you will always do it, I guess that's
yeah, that makes sense to me.
That would be my advice, or not advice, but that would be something I'd say to somebody if they wanted a career in music or guitar or something. I'd say, well, that's awesome that you want to do it, but
you got to be really passionate.
You got to be passionate about it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you go to play places and the people aren't there. Mm-hmm. So you better be playing for yourself and with all the people around you.
Yeah. It's cool. Like I said, it does make sense to me. I heard someone say once that, especially when you're younger, it's like, if you're young, you don't know what you want to do yet. You should just be trying pretty much everything that comes your way.
True.
And then something might stick. Unfortunately for me, guitar has never been that. I'm terrible on the guitar.
It hasn't stopped me.
I'm not so sure. Yeah. Who would you say are some of your influences?
Oh man, there's so many. I love all the. Well, I love Jimmy Reed.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like a. So, I love that. Mm-hmm. That was one of the first things I learned to play on guitar, and I'm still hanging in there with it.
Yeah. It doesn't get old.
When I first started playing, I did it with one finger. Uh-huh. Now I've graduated to where I'm playing with two, but but I love that. I love all the Muddy Waters and all the Little Walter and all the guys that backed up the harmonica players, and then I love B.B. King, which is that's that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and I like all the West Side, like Magic Sam and Otis Rush. What a unbelievable, singer and. stuff like that.
Yeah.
But really, all blues. I love all the country guys like Don Rich and the guy that played with Buck Owens. Me and my father used to sit and watch all the TV shows. They used to be a bunch of TV shows on Saturdays, and there was what was it? I can't think. Cowboy Weaver and the Pals of the Saddle. That was on I don't know, like maybe Channel 11. It was a local channel in Dallas. I don't know if y'all got it down here or not, down in Austin, but anyway, there was that, and then there was Panther Hall, which was really a live. It was like a honky tonk in Fort Worth. George Jones would play there, and Bob Wills and Texas Playboys, and Conway Twitty would do it.
Oh, wow.
Tony Douglas and the Shrimpers, and a bunch of people. And I want to say it came on at 6 o'clock, and whoever was the star that night or was the headliner that night played that matinee, which was a 30-minute program. But it was like sort of free advertising of getting people down to the club that evening. But, that everybody had shows. Porter Wagner, Grand Ole Opry, who else? The Wilburn Brothers. Used to see Willie Nelson on the Wilburn Brothers. He wore a turtleneck and had slick back hair.
That's right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't remember that. Obviously, I was too young, but I remember seeing videos of that when I was even a kid too.
It was awesome.
That's crazy.
It was awesome.
It's a wide variety for sure.
Oh yeah.
You think it's important to surround yourself with a variety of musicians?
I think it helps in some ways. I think it makes you have a little bit different take on different things.
Right.
I probably know two guitar players play exactly alike. I probably couldn't. All my stuff sort of sounds the same, but I probably messed up somewhere, and it made it a little different.
Yeah. Perfect imperfections.
Perfect imperfection. That's great.
Is there a city or a venue that you've been to that kind of has a special place in your heart? Maybe something really cool happened there. You met someone.
Man, Helena, Arkansas is a very special place for me because I've played there now. I've played every one. It's a festival that's in Helena, and which is, 60 miles, 70 miles from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
And I've played the first one, and I played the last one. So it's been 30 some odd years that I've been playing this festival. And the little town is a little bit distressed now, but it's just a little town right over the Mississippi River on the other side, on the west side. And, they do this festival every year, and it's back in the old days, I had Frank Frost and Albert King, B.B. King, Robert Jr. Lockwood. They had all Johnny Shines, all these great, wonderful, all of my heroes would play there, which most of them are no longer with us. But I'd say that one is that. There's lots of wonderful venues across the United States that I've played that I've had lots of fun in a bunch of them. But I guess Helena, if I had to say I had to pick one, that would be. It's a great festival.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. What'd you say?
It's in Helena, Arkansas.
Okay. Arkansas is a beautiful state too, just in general.
It is. It's a good state.
Yeah,
it really is. Levon Helm is from Helena, Arkansas.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything
I don't know
to
who
anybody,
it is,
but he was in the band.
Okay.
A band called the Band.
That's original.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly original. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm always just curious to see if traveling musicians have like that one place that they're excited to go back to or they're thinking about often.
We do it every year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's. I'm always excited to go back. You know, it's out in the middle of the cotton fields, sort of.
Yeah, that's
You
cool.
know.
That's really cool. I could be wrong about this next one, but it seems to me at least that you've gotten a bit more into producing in recent years.
I love producing records.
Is there a reason that you've kind of been doing more of that?
You know, I really sort of, I've been doing it a long time because I've sort of produced my own records. I've had a lot of help over the years with Blacktop, just learning how to do things like that, like it. But, you know, it's just kind of where I ended up. And I don't do it all the time. I do maybe a project or two a year, which that's not very much. But for the records, like blues records and 50s, 60s, 70s kind of soul records, I have a good idea of how to make these records. And I have a good team of people. I love doing them down here. I work down here a lot with Stuart Sullivan, who he had that the studio here, Wire, and I work with him. I mean, I couldn't make a record without Stuart. He's just fabulous, but I love doing it. I like putting people together and watching them really make music, because to me, that's kind of what a good producer does is, you're able to hear an artist and handpick some people to actually get together and back an artist up, and you really just kind of stay out of the way and, try to keep them out of the ditch when something really goes haywire, really.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Music
really
is organic to me. It's like magic.
Mm-hmm.
When you get a bunch of people together that really love that style of music or something, I mean, it's like magic. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, that's awesome. You ever see musicians, especially when they're in a group together, go into like the flow state, where they seem to get into a groove, that there's no hiccups and they're just moving right along?
That's the way beautiful music is made. Yeah. Where it's just a zone. Yeah. It's like, what do they call it in golf? Mindless concentration.
Yeah.
Where you're not really thinking about it, but you're
fully in it.
You're fully in it, submerged in it. So yeah.
That's a cool phenomenon. I like that a lot. Okay, final question here. A bit of a random one, but for whatever reason, let's say there's only 3 songs you're allowed to perform for the rest of your time. What 3 songs are you performing?
3?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I know if I have one.
Well, see,
I'd have to do a Jimmy Reed song.
Okay, cool.
Something, and I'd have to do something like that if I'd need to perform one of those, and then I'd have to do a nice kind of a like a Linda Lou shuffle, one of those. Something like that, and I'd have to, of course, play some sort of a slow blues.
Yeah.
But as far as just a
specific 3 songs,
specific 3 songs, maybe not.
Yeah. Did you choose those 3 because it kind of feels like it covers all the bases? For you?
Well, no, because there's all kinds of little like
variations.
You could do like a. Which it kind of.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all kinds of different beats you can put with things, or combine the beats, or
it's versatile.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
But those would be the 3: a slow blues, a shuffle, and a Jimmy Reed. I call it a a march, because it always kind of sounds like you're, you know.
Moving. My Uncle Doug Welker. Yeah, my pops told me before we started that you knew my Uncle Doug real well. How does that? How's that?
You know, I met Doug at the Melody Shop in Dallas, Texas, on Lover's Lane, and he had a friend that his name was Gerald Jones, and Gerald's father bought a guitar just like this. It was a 56 Strat at McCord's Music, downtown Dallas in 57. And Doug's friend his father wanted to sell it. And I met Doug at the Melody Shop to look at this guitar. And I ended up buying that guitar probably in 1975 or 6. I'm bad with years anymore now, but anyway, and I had that guitar from 1976, we'll say, till 2014. And then I had to sell it, but Fender is going to make a guitar for me. And this is a replica of the Chris Fleming's made it for me. It's a replica of the 56 Strat. So, but that I've bought strings, picks, amps, guitars, what have you, from your Uncle Doug.
That's hilarious. What a small world. That's so cool. So is that the guitar you take on stage with you most nights?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's a good one. Looks
It's
badass.
It's a great guitar.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Anson, thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you having me.
Yeah. I can't thank you enough. The pleasure's all ours. There we go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.